I'm the one who called the code, not the one who cracked the chest, and there's a very particular silence that follows those words over an intercom. The whole floor just stops breathing with you. My name is Farrah Delacroix-Ibe. I run the front desk and triage intake at a district hospital, ER, and most nights my biggest crisis is a parking dispute in the ambulance bay. That night was different. I watched the whole thing happen through the glass doors before anyone else even knew it was happening. Dorothy Callahan came in on a Tuesday that smelled like rain, 80 years old, hip fracture, and she would not stop apologizing to the paramedics, to the gurney, to the automatic doors for not opening fast enough. I remember thinking, this is somebody's grandmother, somebody's whole world, and she's saying, sorry for existing in the wrong hallway at the wrong hour. Maybe you know a woman like that. Maybe she raised you. I clocked the paramedic first because I always do. It's the job. You learn faces fast when you're the one deciding who gets seen next. His name tag said M. Ferro. He had that steady voice paramedics get, the one built for calming down people who are already scared, and he used it on Dorothy the whole ride through my doors. You're doing great, ma'am. Almost there. Nobody's mad at you. I liked him immediately and told myself that meant nothing, because I tell myself that about every decent-looking man who wheels a patient through my station, and I am usually right. What I didn't clock, not that night, was the resident who came jogging down from the 3rd floor with 4 hours of sleep in her whole body and none of her patients left. Priya Nandakumar. I'd seen her 100 times, always moving, always half a step ahead of her own exhaustion. She took one look at the chart, one look at Marcus, and something crossed her face that I filed away without understanding, the way you notice a splinter before it starts to hurt. Behind her came Beatriz Osei, trauma nurse, the kind of person who reads a room before she's finished walking into it. I heard later, because in this building everybody hears everything eventually, that's the price of small hospitals, that Beatriz almost pulled Priya off the case entirely, just from the look on her face. Almost let her walk away from something that turned out to matter more than either of them expected. I wasn't in the trauma bay for what happened next, so I only got it in pieces, the way front desk always does, second-hand, out of order, patched together from what people said while signing forms at my window. Marcus and Priya had crossed paths 3 years before, apparently, and whatever hadn't been said back then came due all at once over Dorothy's hip fracture. I heard there was history. I heard there was a decade her senior in confidence and Marcus in cardiology bragging rights, something about a doorway in a reading room that a lab tech named Renata Ochoa swore she witnessed too, though her version had different lighting. Here's what I know for certain, because I watched it with my own eyes from behind the glass. Dorothy Callahan got the care she needed, stabilized, stitched, settled into a bed upstairs, still apologizing on her way out of my line of sight. And somewhere in the chaos of that one ordinary, extraordinary night, 2 people who'd spent 3 years pretending the other one didn't still occupy space in their heads finally stopped pretending. I signed the discharge paperwork weeks later when Dorothy came back for a follow-up, cane in hand, still saying sorry for taking up my time. She told me, unprompted, like she could feel me wondering, that the doctor and the paramedic who'd argued over her gurney that night had walked her to her car together after her last appointment, still bickering, but the kind of bickering that has a smile folded inside it. I think about that a lot, actually, how something as simple as a call I logged, an address I read off a screen, turned into someone else's whole second chance. I never even spoke to Marcus or Priya directly that night. I just watched the doors, did my job, and let 2 people I barely knew find their way back to each other 3 feet from my window. Makes you wonder how many quiet turning points happen in front of us that we never get invited into, whether you'd want to know, if you could, how many love stories you've stood 2 feet away from without ever hearing a word of them.